The League's Community Conversations project is really part of our broader project called City Services and Funding. It's really an opportunity and an effort to reach out and really communicate with citizens, both two ways, to inform them more about what cities do, and then the community conversations part that I think we're talking about today was an opportunity to really get inside the minds of citizens and just talk with them about their view of city services, what's important to them, how they see city services, and where they'd like to see cities going in the future.
One of the reasons we decided to do community conversations as opposed to a survey or some kind of poll is because conversations give people the opportunity to ask questions, to find out more information, and to engage with each other and as they build their understanding and develop their ideas and share their thoughts and opinions. So that was one of the major motivators that we had going into this project. We started off all the conversations with giving about 10 to 15 minutes of presentation. One of the League staff would always do that. We explained the research that the Humphrey School had done for us, setting out the reason why we were there, the reason why we're asking people to share their thoughts about the tough choices that cities are having to make. So we shared that background information. We shared a little bit about the typical ways that cities pay for services, talking about things like property taxes and fees, so the common revenue sources, and we also walk them through typical services that cities provide to orient them to things that maybe they don't think about as much, things that they don't use on a day-to-day basis, a little bit more behind the scenes. I mean, everyone is top of mind, like police, fire, streets are more obvious to people, but we wanted to make sure that people understand the breadth of city services. A lot of our planning time for the community conversations was crafting the exact questions we wanted to ask. We wanted to make sure that we asked them in a way that was meaningful and clear to the everyday person and not someone who spends their days thinking about property tax issues or other complex, service delivery methods, but that would make sense, that wouldn't be biased in any way. So, that was a really intense part of the planning process.
I would say the results of the conversations leave me very hopeful. I was able to go out and personally staff several of the discussion tables, and one of the most encouraging things was how excited people were just to get the information, regardless of their political persuasion or their age group or their gender or whatever. Consistently, people walked away saying, this was great. I learned so much here, not only from the League staff, but also from fellow citizens that were sitting at this table with me.
I was struck that we didn't have to do a lot of work to convince people that tough choices are coming, that cities are challenged, and that there's a lot of tough decisions to be made. People seem to either already know that, or if it was a little bit new to them, be very accepting of that and ready to give input into what those tough choices might be.
I think the public gets it. I think they understand the situation that we're in. And I also think that they might be more willing to accept maybe some changes in services, more collaboration, more and different ways of doing things than maybe we as governmental officials might have originally thought prior to this report. We had a pretty contentious discussion in November and December on our 012 budget with some of the business community and all the concerns that they have about taxes and city services. So it might be a nice model that other cities, that we in Hastings will choose to use in the future. A
lot of people commented about quality of life. That means different things to different people, but the theme that I think ran through a lot of the conversations thinking about the future is we want to make sure our communities are places where we want to live, where our businesses want to stay, where young families want to move to.
I think the results really are hopeful. I honestly didn't know what to expect when we embarked on this project. I suppose if you had asked me that question, though, I probably would have said, well, if we hear a lot of cynicism, if we hear a lot of criticism, that's to be expected. That isn't what we heard. We heard people, number one, saying that they understand the importance of local government services to the quality of life in their community. They also, again, a little bit of a surprise to me, are apparently willing to say, even if I don't use a municipal service, I understand that it might be important to others, and we're going to have to figure out a way to at least provide some of those services. That that was a little bit of a surprise to me. But on the whole, I think when I look at the results and I hear the comments or read the comments that are so pervasive from around the state, they really inspire hope, I think, that things are going to be different.